Hello everybody and welcome. I'm Cindy Daychuck with Queen Bee Creations and thanks for joining me today. If you haven't already subscribed, I would love it if you would hit that button. We come at you multiple times a week with different crafts and different projects. So lots of things to keep you busy crafting if you wanna. Now today, what I have is, I have a mess of these wood rounds. I bought a bunch of them off Amazon and I'll put the link down in case you wanted to get the same. I like these ones. So I've gotten some before that were not so nice. These ones are nice because the outside is still got the rough edges, which I love, and they're staying on. A lot of times I've gotten them and they're just crumbled in the bottom of the bag. And the other thing is that they're already sanded smooth. So they're ready for me to use without having to do anything extra to it. I do occasionally pick up sticks and branches and chop them down to size, but they're always a lot more work because one, I can't get them this thin. So I tend to use them more as big chunks and pedestals for stands. So I mostly use these for stands. So putting in maybe dowels, nailing in dowels for Christmas trees and all those kinds of things. But because I had a bunch of them, I thought it would be cool to maybe do some other crafts with them and take a look at some other decor items. And in particular, I was thinking of for Christmas. So what I did think I wanted to do was some reverse image transferring, which is a different type of decoupage. So for that, what I did was I went to the Graphics Fairy, so thegraphicsfairy.com, and they have got tons of cool free graphics that you can download. They also have a membership, so if you're somebody that does a lot of crafts, you're really into journaling and all those kinds of things, and you want tons and tons of images and access to that, and lots of projects, then you can also do their membership, right? You can do the subscription, whatever works for you. So what I decided was I was going to do some little Christmas angels. And so I downloaded images. Now I set it up so that they'd be round, but I've got images that aren't and that I have cut out, but you just print them out in color and then you cut them out. So I still have to cut those ones out, but y'all don't want to watch me cutting. So I do have some images that are already prepared. They can be bigger than your template. That's okay because you'll be getting rid of the excess, so not a problem. And if they're smaller, then that's okay because you're just going to be putting them in the middle. Now, if we were just decoupaging, we would take our Mod Podge, we would paint it on here, and we would glue our image down. So you can totally do that. If you want to just decoupage your image on, cool, no problem. So, you know, especially if you had one that was a little bit smaller and that fit in there, you could decoupage that in the center, let it dry, decoupage over top, you're good to go. We're going to do reverse imaging, which means we won't actually be leaving any of the paper on there. So it's a different look. It's going to look a little bit more aged, and that's kind of what I was going for. So it's really easy and it's fun to do. What we're going to do is take our decoupage medium. I'm using some Mod Podge. This happens to be satin. I've got some matte here. I think I have some gloss over there. It doesn't matter. And you're just going to paint that onto the wood round. Pretty easy so far, right? I'm going to paint it on the wood round, and we are just going to, let me do this little one so you can kind of see a little better. We're just going to stick our image down. Now, we do not want to paint Mod Podge over top of this. We want this to just sit on this surface, and we want to leave it to dry. Do not cover it again. So we are reverse imaging this. We are going to be removing that paper later. So we want that to be adhered really well. We just stick it down, face down, and we let it dry. That's it, okay? So for now, that's all that you're gonna be doing. If you are doing an image that has words, you need to reverse your image before printing it out. Okay, so that on your paper, when it's printed out, your words have to be backward, so that when you put it down onto your surface, the words are now going to be the right side round. But if you don't do that, then your words are going to be backward on this. Now, the other thing that you can do is, if you were doing this, I'm going to be making little Christmas tree ornaments this way. Let's say you wanted to do pictures of all family members. Then cool, you can just take their pictures, print them out with your color printer, and do this exact thing, so that you can have all their happy little faces adorning your Christmas tree. So, of your kids, of your grandkids, I mean, whatever you got. But kind of fun. And kind of fun too, if you were doing this as gift tags, sticking the person's face onto this tag, and then attaching that, instead of writing their name on it, attaching this as an extra little ornament for them, for their tree in the future. But it's also saying who that gift goes to. Kind of cool, kind of fun idea. So again, I just want to find some wood rounds that would let these little round angels, and they're all different sizes, so you can kind of play with it a little bit. All right, so she fits in quite nicely, although I'm going to be turning her the other way. So you're just going to be gluing them down. You don't want to get glue on the back of them though, because we're going to be removing that paper after they have dried. So at this stage, all that we're doing is painting our medium on. So you could use DIY liquid patina for this. You could use the Mod Podge. I believe in using what you got, and I've got a mess of Mod Podge here at the shop. And just make sure it's really well adhered to your surface. So kind of rub it all over, make sure that it's all sticking down. Put it off to the side, let it dry, and I'll come back at you. So this is a good thing to do, and leave it overnight so it's fully dried before we do the next step. Now that our little angel has had a chance to dry overnight, it's time to reveal her. So, yes, we can do the straight decoupage. So just putting our image face up on top of our decoupage medium, putting the decoupage over top, and that looks great. And we've done some of them that way. I wanted to show you this technique though, because very often, like if you're looking, and I'm just using a fine mister here with just water, so I'm just dampening this. I don't want it soaking yet. Fine misters keep spraying, so just. But the advantage of this is that when we're done, we're not going to have a really thick line around our image as we would if we just decoupaged it. And I'm just taking my finger and lightly rubbing this. And in essence, what I'm doing is I'm rubbing away the paper, and I'm leaving behind the ink. So again, this is a great way of doing maybe pictures of family members onto these. Just remember that you're always going to be doing a reverse image. So if you do have words in your picture, then they will come out backward on this. So you need to start with an image that has backward words. Backward words, yes, that's right. And you're going to get kind of like a lovely kind of aged effect to this. And all that we want to do is just lightly add, more water as this starts to dry out. This bottom part is starting to dry out a little bit. And you can take, instead of wetting the image like I am, you could take a damp cloth and rub it with the cloth. But I find that I lose track of how much I'm taking off. And if I'm doing it with my fingers, then I can feel still where there's some paper, and I'm less likely to rub down through the ink and remove too much of the image. So for me, because I tend to be a little heavy-handed with things I do, this way gives me a little bit better control. But you can see, let me get all those little pills off. It gives a great image, and I've got very fine lines. I don't have the sign of the paper there showing. So this is a great technique to use, especially if you were doing like a lot of signs and you don't have good hand printing, so you can't freehand the letters, and you don't have like a Cricut machine to cut new stencils out every time. You can print the words out backward and do this technique and then have all that fancy lettering on your signs without having to do any of the printing yourself. So this is a great reveal. So all I'm going to do with this now is I am going to let this dry, and then I'm going to decoupage over it again. Our little discs have had the night to be able to dry off and settle, and I'm just going to give each of them a very light sanding, and it's just more to kind of smooth it out than it is anything else, right? Because just doing with our fingers, we might get little pills still hanging in. So to finish them off, I want to seal them with some Mod Podge. And for this, didn't realize it wasn't open yet. So for this, I am choosing to use some Mod Podge in a gloss. I usually do most things in matte, but for this, I kind of like the idea of them being a little bit shiny. The gloss is not hugely glossy. So you're just simply going to cover them all over. And I like to do this before I would look at whether or not I want to do any, antiquing or black wax or anything like that. But I'm thinking I will probably just want to leave them as they are. And wetting them brings back a little bit of that color. But you get look at it. See how cute, how pretty that is? And it's just like this nice soft look. It's time now to just put the finishing touches onto our little wood discs. And to do that, we're gonna do a couple of things. One, I'm just gonna finish them off with a messy bow, which means we're just gonna take little pieces of, I've got some old bed sheets that are just ripped up, so a little bit of a shabby chic look. I've got a little piece of lace here, a little bit of a red ribbon. Oh, and another piece of that cloth. Let's add in a little piece of raffia, a piece of that lace again, maybe another piece of raffia, a little pink ribbon. And we're just going to tie it off, and this becomes our bow. Now you could do just a simple little regular bow if you wanted. I just think this is a little bit more softly romantic and kind of in keeping with the angels that I had done. But, do your bow according to whatever your images are and what makes sense for that, right? So let me just cut that string off. And what I like to do is just kind of trim off these edges, and I'm just kind of doing it to a little bit of a point. Nothing major here, just they're a little long for my purposes. So just give them a little bit of a haircut, shave them down a bit, push it off to the side. and then just kind of zhuzh them out a little bit, right? And decide which side kind of works for you with whatever statement you want. Now, with the disc, what we want to do is we want to take a little eye hook. So that's the little round kind of picture hangers that you'd usually put the wire through. And we're just going to push it down into the top of our hook. Oops, top of our wood, I mean. And once these are started, they go in quite easily. It's just getting them going. There we go. And finish off with it sideways there, right? So that we have a place to kind of put our ribbon. Just take a loop, tie it off at the top. And then we're just going to take our bow and we're just going to kind of drop it down onto the top of our wood. And glue that bow on. So that we're just left with this kind of look. So just nicely soft and romantic. Just a nice little touch. And again, I think that these are perfect for hanging on a tree. I think that they're perfect to use as a gift tag. You can write the person's name on the back if you wanted to, so that they have, and maybe date it, so that this becomes a collectible Christmas ornament for them. Or, as we said earlier, you could decoupage their face on, right? Just print out a picture of them, put their face on, and then this becomes the gift tag. No need for a name. I also think that these are super fun to do with kids. So you can work with them to be able to print out whatever pictures they want. It could be of their favorite toys, it could be of family members, it could be pictures of their pets. I mean, whatever they're into, maybe of hobbies, so that it is a whole hobby tree maybe. So whatever your theme is, and they can very easily be able to cut them out, decoupage them on, you know, hang the ribbon. There's so much of this that they can do, and that they can have fun then hanging them and decorating them onto the tree and really feel part of it. So there's a lot of flexibility with these, and you can see a little bit of the difference here. This is the straight decoupage, so putting it face up. This is with it doing the reverse image. And in fact, this is the reverse image of this. So you can see how it's fainter, it's a little bit more worn looking, a little bit more aged. This is much, much brighter. And both are lovely. It's just what's the look that you're after. Keep this technique in mind, so beyond the decoupaging, the reverse decoupaging in mind for other craft projects. It works great for doing signage. If you don't like doing lettering, then just print it out, reverse image, do this, and then you don't have all of the paper that you printed on the printer paper as well. You just have all of the lettering that you're leaving behind. So it gives some flexibility to be able to create some of the signs if you want to do it. And again, just another technique. Keep it in your toolkit, pull it out when you need it, depending upon what craft you're doing. Hope you have fun with this one, and I look forward to seeing you in the next one. Thanks for tuning in. Take care.